Hello, I'm Pastor Dave, and this is our Monday morning sermon recap for February 7th, 2022. Here we go. This week we tackled Nehemiah 5, verses 1 through 13, where Nehemiah meets and confronts a different opponent, some of his own people. This was an internal crisis within the community. And as we often see, internal crises, whether within families or communities or even within one nation, can be some of the harshest conflicts that we can witness. Sometimes we forget that is actually the case, because crises within a community can cause problems just as easily as crises caused by external forces. We like to gloss over the internal ones because it's easier to focus on external causes of conflict. But we all know that there are internal conflicts, and we should prepare for them. For Nehemiah, the conflict was caused by the work on the wall. And this was because the focus on the walls distracted the people from everyday work. They weren't working, they weren't planting, they weren't harvesting, and this caused families to run out of money. It caused families to worry about starving. This was an issue, especially when they went to seek loans of money or grain. And some charged interest, thereby capitalizing and enriching themselves from the hardship of others. Now, one of the things we have to deal with in looking at this conflict is that we have to remember that the work of God cannot distract from the needs on earth. Some are called to live separately from others on earth as part of their calling to Christ. But when we're not called to that, whether it's a monastic life or to singleness like the Apostle Paul, there's a need to strike the balance between God's call and the needs on earth for the disciples. And we do need to strike that balance to meet both sets of needs. And when we do that, we're actually showing our faith by living a faithful life. That's because how we meet our needs in the world is a way we live out our faith. How we find how we can serve God and care for our families and ourselves and our communities is really a fruit of our faith that other people can see. This is how we need to why we need to keep our eyes focused on what's actually important. Because it's not about following the rules. It's not about checking things off or just focusing on earthly concerns. Because following Christ is more than just following rules, but living them out and living our lives. And that's where we have to keep our focus. The focus really is on that balance between fulfilling our commitments to God and our commitments to one another on earth. When we can do that, we are living a good Christian life. So that's your recap for this week. Remember, we worship every Sunday at 8:45 at East Salem, 10:15 at Otterbein, and we live stream the East Salem service at 8:45 on the East Salem UMC Facebook page. So until next Sunday, I'm Pastor Dave, and I hope to see you in the pews.